Well, is there an aspect of that performance, I don't know, that was most gratifying or pleased you the most?
Nothing in the win, I guess. Nothing in particular.
What did you think of motor play and motor? You said that you kind of started with that last week.
Yeah, it was improved from last week, I thought. But there's never going to be a perfect week, and so we're always continually pointing it out. And here's where we could have been better, and you got to go practice it.
JG said that Darius has come to you and gone to him as well, just about the stuff he's learned so far. What have those conversations been like with the rookie?
They're pretty detailed on what's his thought process with anything, with his game, whether that's pass rush, run game, stunts. When you talk to players and you really get to be in their shoes with their thought process, and it helps you as a coach because ultimately that's how you want to coach, right? You want to get in their shoes, and it just gives you a perspective on what is going through his head when he was thinking about, how his stance could adjust here, first step could be different, or what he was trying to set up with that move, and so on and so on. Like it's super detailed, which is really good, and then you start to try to hone in on, how can you make it better. So those are always fun conversations with any player.
Before about the rotation with D-line and the outside linebackers, you want to just keep them fresh, keep the offense on their toes. When a player loses their shoe early in the game,
Yeah, we lost some shoes, didn't we? Yeah.
Especially a player with the versatility that Mac has. Does having that rotation already create a benefit? Is that a pro for the defense that's already kind of going in and out as opposed to?
Yeah, it is. Because those guys have gotten a lot of reps, throughout the week of practice, and they're ready to go in the game. But I would say whether it's a position that rotates or not, you feel pretty good about guys being ready to go. And that's credit to the players, credit to the position coaches that it's not just getting the starters ready, it's getting everybody that has a jersey ready. And, what helps that as well is the way that we practice. JG gives a lot of opportunity for every player to execute our defense, whether that's, scout going against cards or it is going against each other, ones versus ones, twos versus twos, ones versus twos. And so everyone gets a chance to continually rep what we do. And that helps a lot because as a backup, you have to be able to function off minimal reps. Well, JG makes it so that it's not as minimal as, what I would say I've been around in the past. So, to answer your question, yes, because those guys are already playing a lot, but I feel good about, anybody, whether it's a position that rotates or not.
A player in particular, Chris Barnes, who showed up on that huge goal line stand, third and fourth down stuff. What did you make of his play after watching the tape?
Not surprised at all. He is extremely intelligent and he's a pro, so he's always ready to go.
You said that JG works in the backups in practice more than other guys you've been around.
Yeah, he allows us to have periods where not just the starters get to rep our defense, if that makes sense, right? Whereas, sometimes it can just be where if you're a backup, you're just working what the other team's doing. And so I think that allows us to practice fast, because when you're running your own stuff, what to do, but it also gives us rehearsal on our own stuff. And so when you're not a starter, you just naturally don't get as many reps during the season, and that kind of shrinks that gap.
That seems like it would have really paid off so far this year with all the injuries. It seems like you've had second and even third string guys really step up well on the defensive side. Do you kind of credit that somewhat to kind of the way that you guys practice?
Well, that's the NFL. Everyone's going through that. I think it's a credit to that. I think it's a credit to those guys. I think they'd be ready even if they didn't have that at practice. And again, they're position coaches because they spend a lot of time, extra time, one-on-one time, group, all of that to get everyone ready to play.
With the aspect of playing meaningful games in December, and a lot of times the focus is on the players and all that, do you feel that heightened sense of urgency also as a coach?
I'm definitely not going to say yes to that. I always have a urgency, even during the summer. I have some urgency in the summertime too. It's good to play meaningful football in December. I know that, but I would say that I don't feel any sort of different with how I go about each day.
Aaron Brownie got a lot of snaps, got the sack, but overall, how would you assess his game overall?
Yeah, it was good. It was a good day. He played well, improving every week, technique and schematically. I feel like we've put more on his plate every week, just because you start off, you want to make sure that he's comfortable with the schematic stuff of getting here. It's first week, second week. Don't try to overload it. Make sure that we're quality over quantity. Now I think that we could give him quantity and it'd still be high quality. So, because he's extremely intelligent, and so we can load him up with a lot of stuff. He's a pro. Like he puts in the work, and it's paying off.
Sack, it looked like he was really explosive off the edge. What else went into that play for him to be able to get around the edge there?
Yeah, I think it was get off. I think you said it. Like when you get off like that and beat the tackle, like he won the down in the first milliseconds, and so from there it was about finishing and, make sure you got the quarterback down.
The very next play, it was that fumble once he was in the backfield and then
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's why we talk about motor, right? Yeah, he got out of we call that getting out of the stack, right? He was rushing, boom, ball's out, he gets out of the stack, all of a sudden ball's on the ground, right? Garrett lodges it out, and it was whizzed right by him. So he almost had it, but that's a good example of why motor's important. It leads to takeaways.
What do you see from the from the Panthers offense?
Yeah, they're definitely getting in rhythm right now. They're playing good football. I think quarterback's good. I think Bryce Young's a good player. He can throw it on time. He's slippery in the pocket. When he extends, he can extend a run, extend a pass. And then the thing that pops out to me is it's a good O-line with a good running back. And I know they've had some unfortunate injuries at running back. It's a good position for them when you look at their whole roster. But I know Chuba's toting that rock right now. So you got to be able to stop the run. It's a good back. It's a good O-line. But then, at the same time, they got a quarterback that can sling it. I think Thielen's playing at a high level still. So they present a lot of issues, and I think they're playing really good together right now in every aspect, run and pass game.
When you've broken down their tape over the last day or two, what is the difference that you're seeing in Bryce from kind of before the benching to the last couple of games now?
I mean, I think every part of his game, getting the ball out on time, making the right decisions, not putting the ball at risk, extending when he needs to extend, and just in rhythm with his receivers,
Does it benefit you guys that Coker has kind of emerged before you guys go up against him, so you realize you got to...
I mean, yeah, it's you don't ever want something to sideswipe you in the game you weren't ready for.
Well, one more on Barron. It seems like he's kind of, when you guys brought him in, you talked a lot about his versatility, being able to drop into coverage. Have you seen that from him, and how has that kind of helped the defense?
Yeah, I've seen that from day one, with his skill set of being able to play the run game, play coverage, and rush a passer. The more versatility you can have at that position, the more calls you can call on normal downs, and then on third down, really, the more creative you can get. So it's beneficial, and it's not just him. I feel good about that whole room being versatile. I thought J.O. had a really good day doing a lot of different things for us in the game. So it's all those guys that have that skill set.
Darius draws the penalty. JG said he did really good. He felt in that run, and then also gets his first sack. Played about 60% of snaps. Is that kind of the game you're looking for from him?
Where he bails me out with a bad call by drawing a holding penalty? Yeah, absolutely. Keep it on third down. Don't let him move the sticks. Yeah, he had a good game. He's definitely taken steps. It was good to get that first sack. But he's got to keep improving things, and he knows that. But it's good to see him, being productive and continuing to do this every week. I think he even says that he feels like comfort-wise he's doing that, and it's getting back into the flow of things, and he realizes now, okay, I'm just playing football. So it's going good.
Buda Baker's, 2 tackles away from leading the entire league. We can see the athleticism, right, sideline to sideline. How often does he win just with his instincts and his knowledge and 8 years of experience? How often does he win down to down, just like mentally?
A lot. I think when you couple that with that kind of generates his play speed, meaning like when he pulls a trigger, like this guy pulls a trigger, but he also has this unbelievable ability to play like a bullet. Like not everyone has the ability to just shoot their gun and go get a ball carrier down or shoot through a blocker or avoid a blocker, or the way he can feel space and know if he needs to send the ball back and, play the blocker like he needs to, or if it feels like he can leverage the ball instead of the blocker and slip it and go make it. So, like, his brain leads him to a lot of plays of just knowing our stuff really well and knowing what they do really well, but he also has this play speed that you can't really teach. And that's also, I think, just a mindset of that ball's mine, and that's why you see him make so many tackles is he gets to the rock.
Have you been able to showcase him more in the scheme this year, maybe versus last year? I don't know if the word unlock, I don't know, have you been able to do more with him this year?
I think he's been a great player for a long time, to be honest. So I think he's just playing good football right now,